In 1947, a strange and horrifying signal from the Indian Ocean shook nations around the world, including the United States, England, India, and China. It was a distress call, a type of signal only sent when a ship is facing a life-threatening situation. Ships and international listening stations intercepted this chilling signal and tried to trace its source. They soon discovered that it was coming from the Malacca Straits, causing alarm and tension. Immediately, the American ship Silver Star was dispatched as a search party. The captain and crew of the Silver Star turned their vessel toward the source of this strange signal. After hours of searching, they spotted a ship in the distance, eerily silent, almost as if it were lifeless. As they got closer, they realized it was the SS Orang Medan, but there was no sign of movement on board. The ship seemed to be drifting, abandoned to the waves. The Silver Star captain and his crew felt an ominous sense of dread. As they approached, they could see that something was deeply wrong. There was no one in sight, just a silence broken only by the sound of the waves. After a moment, the captain decided to board the ship, despite the unease among his crew. Reluctantly following his orders, they climbed aboard. What awaited them was a scene that would haunt them forever: piles of dead bodies. Every crew member of the Orang Medan, even the captain, was dead. The bodies lay sprawled across the deck, as though they had been trying to fight off an invisible force. Their eyes stared upward at the sky, their hands raised in defense against an unseen enemy. Horror was frozen on their faces, their mouths open in silent screams. Even the ship's dog was found dead, its mouth open, as if it had succumbed to the same terror. In the engine room, they encountered another chilling anomaly. The temperature was unnaturally cold, as if the room were refrigerated. Bodies were found there too, in the same eerie posture, hands raised, eyes fixed on the sky. Despite the rapid decomposition of the bodies, there were no signs of injuries on anyone. The captain of the Silver Star decided not to disturb the bodies, fearing they could be dangerous. He ordered his crew to tow the Orang Medan so that experts could examine it back on shore and perhaps uncover the mystery. But as they began to tow the ship, smoke suddenly started billowing out from within the Orang Medan. The Silver Star crew quickly cut the tow line, and just then, the Orang Medan exploded in a massive blast. The ship lifted several meters into the air before crashing back down and sinking into the sea in flames. Within moments, the Orang Medan was gone without a trace. The captain and crew of the Silver Star returned home as witnesses to this terrifying event. They reported the incident, but had no physical evidence to back up their story. Many doubted their account, but those who knew of it were certain that something extraordinary had occurred that day. Years later, people still wonder what happened aboard the Orang Medan. Some believe it was a supernatural event, while others speculate that the ship was carrying hazardous chemicals that caused the tragedy. But to this day, the truth remains a mystery. On December 5th, 1872, the day began like any other. The ship De Graya was making its way across the Atlantic Ocean. Captain David Morehouse was steering the vessel when suddenly he noticed another ship in the distance, moving erratically as though it had no direction or control. As he drew closer, he recognized it. It was the Mary Celeste, the same ship that had set sail from New York only 8 days ago, bound for Italy. Captain Benjamin Briggs, a friend of Captain Morehouse, was the commander of this ship, and seeing it adrift with no sign of life startled Morehouse. Captain Morehouse signaled the ship, but there was no response. He dispatched several crew members to board the Mary Celeste and investigate the situation. When they boarded, they found the ship seemingly untouched, with everything in place: the cargo, food in the galley, and the captain's personal belongings. But one thing was missing: the crew. Captain Briggs, his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia were gone. It was as if they had never been there at all. The condition of the ship left Captain Morehouse puzzled. There was water in the lower holds about 3 to 4 feet deep, but nothing that would threaten the ship's integrity. The ship's only lifeboat was missing, but why? Everything seemed in order, but the absence of the crew was deeply unsettling. British authorities were alerted and brought the Mary Celeste to Gibraltar for a thorough investigation. Rumors quickly began to spread. Had some sea monster taken the crew? Could it have been a violent storm that forced them to abandon ship? Or perhaps an explosion from the barrels of alcohol on board scared them into fleeing? Yet none of these theories were proven. The only missing items were the lifeboat and navigational instruments. As time passed, the mystery of the Mary Celeste deepened. Many believed that the ship was cursed. Some speculated that Captain Briggs and his crew had been victims of some unseen force. Others proposed that a toxic gas leak from the alcohol barrels had caused the crew to panic, believing the ship was in danger, prompting them to abandon ship. But why would such experienced sailors make such a decision? No one could figure it out. For many years, people discussed the mystery. The Mary Celeste became one of the most famous maritime legends, with theories ranging from sea monsters to supernatural forces, but no solid answers ever emerged.